Today in cloud gaming news, Stadia announced 10 independent games coming, and quite a few of these are completely new and off the radar. And guys, they look pretty dang good. GeForce Now brings 12 games to their library this week, and finally, Amazon Luna has announced they have 720p and a new game. All that in this video. Make sure you're subscribed to always be up to date with all Stadia, GFN, and Luna news. So today, Stadia showcased 10 indie games coming from the Stadia Makers program, and some of these we've already known about. Of course, out of all the games, Sky Climbers is easily one of the most promising. What's interesting here is that it says it's coming soon, but that is definitely not the case unless they met an alpha test, and the developers have said that it would be at the earliest later this year. But you guys know how these things work, and so far the trailers and gameplay still show that there is a ton of work, so this is definitely not coming soon. Then there's this other game that I've wondered about what the heck has happened to it, Death Carnival, a game that I've wanted to jump into for quite some time. So glad that it's made a reappearance here, and it states that it's going to have full cross-platform play with 4-player online co-op and even PvP, which is new. So it looks like they have been adding more modes. Then of course, Merrick's Market crafting game, it also mentions it's coming soon. Figment 2 Creed Valley will also be coming this fall. 100 Days Winemaking Simulator. Now, out of all these games on this list, this one actually has my most intrigue. You might scoff at the idea of this game, but these titles have a way to be like really sneaky addicting. This one has a release date of May 13th. Then of course, the Dark Side Detective, A Fumble in the Dark, April 15th. We've known about this for quite a few weeks now, but the other 4 games on here are the ones that are completely brand new and just announced. And while some of these for me look pretty dang exciting, one of them though is slightly trippy. but the game that looks most promising has to be Foreclosed. This is a comic book style cyberpunk narrative driven world with what looks to be third-person combat, and it is an RPG. It has a skill system that's going to be interesting, and I have to say, in the trailer it has one portion where it does look like it's top down. Maybe it's just for the stealth portions, but then you see that the combat is in third person. Obviously the visuals in this game stand out. They do have this washed out look, but honestly for me that's actually a positive because it just looks really different, and that's a good thing. I'm guessing this game's going to actually intrigue a ton of people, not just in this community, but outside of it. Then another game that I really enjoyed watching the trailer of was Grime, and this is an action-adventure 2D RPG that has to be one of my favorite visual-looking games that I've seen in a while. Now, a lot of games these days, a lot of indie games, go towards that pixel route, and I'm a huge fan of that, by the way, but I have to say I love this realistic look that this game has. The game features a unique way to improve your character because you're going to be hunting down bosses and then absorbing their skills to tailor your own combat. The game just looks freaking excellent, and I'm excited to give this one a shot when it does arrive on Stadia. Then we have Jay and the Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Looks fun and it looks mindless, which is never a bad thing. And lastly, my trippy game here in She Dreams Elsewhere, a RPG adventure where you play as Talia, an anxiety-ridden comatose woman on a journey to confront her nightmares preventing her from waking up. Very unique looking game to say the least, and one of those that looks really deep. Looks like if you're into something where you really want to get a deep story, this one might be your jam, and this one definitely has that. All in all, guys, I'm a big fan of most of these games on Stadia, and I'm glad to see that there's such a variety between all of these games. None of them are anything like each other, and you can tell they are bringing in some new, fresh ideas to gaming with these titles. Just an FYI, those last 4 games that I just mentioned that are new have a coming soon tag, so not sure when we'll see most of these games. But either way, guys, stay tuned for those coverage and let me know down below which of these excites you the most. So GeForce Now today announced 12 games coming to the service. We have Aaron's Adventure. This one should be live now. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4 will also be available on the 9th, but the headline for sure is the Stronghold franchise in Stronghold Warlords. So far, that has released to 1,600 mixed reviews. It seems that the general consensus is that the original that came out 16 years ago just had a bit more under the hood. This one's just a bit more dumbed down, a little bit more streamlined, which in my opinion, guys, isn't a bad thing, especially for those who could be new to the franchise. But at the moment, there seems to be just a lot of bugs, so hopefully this does get ironed out. $40 on Steam if you're interested, and it is playable via GeForce Now, so if you're interested, go ahead and check that out. And lastly, rounding up today's news, Luna has now enabled 720p for those who want to shorten the amount of data they use, and this is good stuff. I see that they have a 4K coming soon on this screenshot. I personally would love to see that, but the 720p option is a good thing, especially for those who might not have the best connection or they deal with data caps like I do. So kudos to the Luna team. And lastly, they did announce that Ride 4 has reached the service. This came out last October. This is now part of your Luna subscription, so good stuff all around. I am really hoping for a worldwide release sometime this year. I think that is where Luna really needs to make the biggest impact, so we'll end up seeing what happens with that. But with that, guys, let me know your thoughts today on Stadia and the 10 indie games headed to the platform. Which of these games has caught your eye? Your thoughts on the GFN news and Luna finally going 720p. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like, thumbs up as well, and hit that notification bell. I'm Sunny, and I'll see you in the clouds.